Alright, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to Madrid Hub again. I'm your host, Dr. JOTA. Today, again, talking about how the team will look like for the next preseason and the next season in terms of signings, departures, and things like that. So let's go ahead and let's get started talking about possible departures. As you know, we have three different names that might be the next departures in Real Madrid, but for any reason nobody knows, something is going on and the players are not a done deal yet. Let me go ahead and start talking about Luka Jovic and his deal for Fiorentina. Something is really happening, and it's something that we don't know because Fiorentina apparently has communicated to Real Madrid they want to resume the talks, to resume negotiations on next July the 1st, which means they are not ready to go, and apparently they still have to take a look at the books and see if they can go ahead and sign the player, whether signing, loan, or whatever it is, but apparently they're not ready yet, and they are waiting for probably doing the math and see if they are able to sign the player for the next season. To me, this is very harmful for Real Madrid, for the player, and for everybody else, because you are wasting their time, you are wasting the player's time, and that's not fair at all. I mean, every time you sit down on the table with another team, another player, or whoever it is, what you have to do, what you're supposed to have already, is your books clear and ready to go. I mean, if you sit down with another team for signing another player or to borrow a player or whatever it is, you have to know up front if you are able to make it or not, right? So this way you are really damaging and wasting the time of Real Madrid and Luka Jovic as well. So let's see what happens, because we've been with this thing like over the last 3 to 4 weeks, and we still don't know what is going the future, or what the future is going to be for Luka Jovic and Fiorentina and Real Madrid. So I will keep you posted whatever it happens, but for now it's gonna be tough, and apparently nothing is gonna happen before next July the 1st. So now let's move on and let's talk about Mariano, because the player apparently he wants to leave. But there are some journalists out there like Eduardo Inda and Edu Aguirre who are reluctant and skeptical towards the player, because they think the player in reality doesn't want to leave Real Madrid. But Fenerbahce, the Turkish team, is trying its best to sign the player right quick and right now. And apparently they have raised a little bit more the money they are paying for the player as a salary. Apparently they were offering 4 million per season, and right now they are throwing 5 million euros on the table for signing the player, not to Real Madrid but to the player as a salary. As you know, the biggest obstacle for the player to leave Real Madrid has been apparently the salary. All the teams that have tried to sign the player in the prior seasons, apparently they were not meeting the expectations of the player in terms of salary. They were offering about 2 million, 3 million or something like that, right? So apparently there's not done deal yet, but Fenerbahce is, let's say, the front runners in the race for Mariano Diaz. And the last player I have to talk about in terms of departures is Marco Asensio. So according to Matteo Moratti, Florentino Perez is asking 50 million euros to whoever wants to sign the player for the next season. That's why AC Milan are a little bit skeptical towards the signing, because they think the expectations from Real Madrid are so high and they don't have the money to pay or to sign the player for the next season. And now, we've been learning the player and his agent are working so hard to leave Real Madrid this season. But if that doesn't happen, then the problem is going to be for Real Madrid and for the player as well. As you know, he's not in the plans of Carlo Ancelotti. Rodrigo is way ahead of him right now. So it might be harmful for both sides, for Real Madrid and for the player as well. So let's see what happens, but Florentino really wants the 50 million euros on the table, and that's it. There's no way for him to lower the price or something like that. So now let's move on and let's talk about the possible signings for Real Madrid. There are not many, I mean, to be honest with you, but there are a bunch of players out there in different leagues like Premier League and the Bundesliga that might be interested in signing for Real Madrid, are finishing their contracts next year. So those of them, I mean, a bunch of them have been attached to Real Madrid. For example, Riyad Mahrez, we were told he might be interested in signing for Real Madrid, and now Manchester City is trying to renew his contract just because they've been told as well Real Madrid is trying to sign the player for next season. So let's see what happens. I don't know if this is really true, but it might happen. I mean, it's one player, very good player with only one season left, and we might see him signing for Real Madrid or any other team in the world. I don't know, but Riyad Mahrez is a very, very good player. So the other player is Serge Gnabry. It's the same situation, with the only difference Bayern Munich is open wide to sell the player this season. So that is the other guy who has been targeted by Real Madrid over the last months. Another one is Mohamed Salah. We still don't know what is going to happen if the player is trying to play a little bit with Liverpool and Real Madrid to get a better offer, renewal offer or something like that. But if he doesn't, if he's not able to meet the expectations of Liverpool, then Liverpool might be open wide as well to sell the player this season. And now the last information that I have for you all, guys, is Jude Bellingham. Ramon Alvarez de Mon has confirmed the exclusive news from Diario AS yesterday about Jude Bellingham, telling us Real Madrid is pushing hard to sign the player right this year for the next season. So the thing is, Real Madrid might be in negotiations with Borussia Dortmund to tie up the player and bring him over for the next season, 23-24. The deal might be closer to 100 million euros, which is insane, but Real Madrid has money enough to throw on the table. I mean, another different debate is whether is accurate this offer or is too much money, right? But other than that, I mean, I'm good with that because I'm not the one who has to pay that money for him, right? So Real Madrid is very interested, according to Ramon Alvarez de Mon, to sign the player, like I said, this year for the next season. So let's see what happens. So now let me know your thoughts about that. Just comment in the section below, and of course, subscribe to my channel, Real Madrid Hub.